The Earth's surface is full of different homes for different animals. Animals share the Earth with more than 5 billion people. People are the world's most successful large animal. No other large animal lives in such numbers in so many places. People have changed the Earth in countless ways. Nearly all animals have been affected by these changes. The science of geography can help us understand people's place and future in the world. And geography can help us understand the place and future of animals as well. Geography is divided into two parts. First, physical geography describes the Earth's surface. It tells about different environments such as mountains, forests, and grasslands. Physical geography also deals with climate, soil quality, and other things that help give every area its special character. Geography's second part is human geography. Human geography describes how people use the surface of the Earth. Like all animals, people need a place to live with food, water, and shelter. With human geography, we see how people divide the land into countries and states. We also learn where we grow food, cut timber, and find or make other things from the Earth. Let's explore across North America to see why physical and human geography together means so much to animals. Start in the east with a look at a common small mammal, the eastern gray squirrel. Using a favorite tool of geographers, the map, we here see this squirrel's range, or part of the continent where it lives. We might think of this as the United Range of Eastern Gray Squirrels. Habitat for this species is provided by deciduous forests. Deciduous trees have colorful leaves in autumn, which fall to the ground. As they fall, gray squirrels bury nuts from the trees for winter food. If we compare the range maps of eastern deciduous forests and the eastern gray squirrel, we can see they are about the same. Across this area, a combination of suitable soil and mild climate support the forests which support the squirrels. Before pioneers arrived, the squirrel's range was so covered with trees, a squirrel could have traveled branch by branch from the Atlantic Ocean to the Mississippi River without touching the ground. Today, barely a third of the squirrel's range still has woods. The landscape is checkerboarded with crop fields and pastures. There are not as many gray squirrels now as in pioneer days. On the other hand, animals which like open fields, such as groundhogs, might be more numerous. Human presence affects different kinds of animals in different ways. Fortunately for the gray squirrel, not all human things are bad for it. Our suburbs often have shade trees, and many squirrels now nest in backyards, find food at bird feeders, and have new ways of traveling without touching the ground. Moving west of the Mississippi, forests give way to grasslands. We call this grassy middle of North America the prairies or Great Plains. Trees have trouble growing here because the climate is too dry. Our prairies once hosted millions of bison, which pioneers called buffalo. As the first railroads crossed the continent, the bison were slaughtered for meat and hides, and to make room for new European settlers. Herds will never again roam the prairies, except in parks and refuges, or on special ranches that now raise bison instead of cattle. Today, our grasslands are one of the world's leading sources of red meat and grain, thanks to rich, deep topsoil and favorable climate. Though we grow lots of food here, the human density, or number of people living per square mile of land, remains fairly low. Sizable areas have been set aside for conservation, to protect wild animals. Conservation is an important part of geography. It makes sure humans leave room for all sorts of animals, from pronghorns to prairie dogs. Grasslands stretch west for hundreds of miles. Then, suddenly, the landscape changes as we meet the Rocky Mountains. The rugged topography of steep slopes, sheer cliffs, and high peaks provides some of North America's most dramatic scenery. Mountains are not easy places for people to live. Travel is hard, the soil is poor and full of rocks, and the temperature is cold. Mountains are cold because of altitude or height above sea level. For every mile above sea level, the temperature drops more than 25 degrees Fahrenheit. Some high peaks are as cold as the North Pole. Low human density and lack of agriculture allow room in the mountains for mountain lions and other very large, powerful animals, such as elk, which have disappeared from other parts of the continent. Mountains also provide a variety of habitats because of changes in elevation. Between peaks, there are often broad, flat, grassy valleys. Low slopes may have pine and spruce forests where lumberjacks cut timber and red squirrels cut cones for food. High elevations may be too cold for trees. Above timberline in alpine meadows, only a few kinds of animals, such as mountain sheep, can survive year-round. For some animals, mountains present a geographic barrier they cannot get over. For example, black-tailed prairie dogs have never settled west of the Rockies, largely because of the mountain barrier. Mountains can also be a barrier to rain. Low clouds cannot get over them. Thus, one side of the mountain range is wet, while the other is dry. The dry side is in the mountain's rain shadow. Across western North America, most rain comes from the west, from the Pacific Ocean. Mountains near the Pacific, called the Sierra Nevadas and the Cascades, block much of this rain and cast a rain shadow over a large part of the west. In some of the drier areas, we find cactus and wonderful natural rock sculptures. Animals here are adapted for hot, dry weather. There are lizards, and roadrunners, which eat lizards. Kangaroo rats, like many desert creatures, are active at night when it's cooler. Unlike most other animals, though, kangaroo rats never need to drink water. They make their own from the seeds they eat. West of the arid lands and nearby mountains, we reach the edge of the continent. The ocean coasts are especially rich and diverse, both for animals and people. In the United States, half the population lives within 100 miles of a coast. Of the world's 10 biggest cities, 8 are by an ocean. Seas attract people because they provide food, transportation, recreation, and more. Oceans offer animals variety in habitats, food, and shelter. Huge flocks of gull scavenge along fishing boats, while shorebirds feed and rest on shore. The tide line, flooded twice daily by ocean waves, has its own community of creatures, such as hermit crabs, which dwell in a shell. In deeper water, seals and sea lions swim effortlessly. They share the water with great schools of fish, including salmon, which spend part of their life in rivers. Our seas are truly rich and varied. People and animals alike thrive by them. So why do animals love geography? Animals love physical geography because the Earth's surface offers so many different places to live. But there is more. Human geography shows how people use the Earth. Physical geography shows what the Earth has to offer. The science of geography helps us understand how to use the Earth wisely. If people use the Earth wisely, animals will always have a place. Animals of all sorts love geography because geography provides them homes now and perhaps into the future.